If you're still rebuilding the same spreadsheets every single time to close month end in Xero, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate the entire process. Deferred revenue, accruals, prepayments, all handled for you automatically straight into Xero without the need for a spreadsheet or a single manual journal. Okay, here we are in Spread. So what is Spread? Spread's an automation tool that sits alongside Xero to detect any key timing differences from your Xero descriptions or the physical attachments to automate adjustments back into Xero. Every time you pay an insurance premium or an annual subscription upfront, somebody has to put all of that into a spreadsheet just to calculate your prepayment adjustments every single month. Now, if you can get 80 to 90% of your prepayments posted automatically for you, that's going to drastically cut down this task every single month. And I can guarantee you'll capture a lot more as well. Things that are previously missed that aren't spotted until they're reviewed by a senior member of staff will be processed by a junior member of staff first time around. Okay, so everything kicks off with how everything pulls into Xero in the first place. There are many, many tools out there, such as Dext, Apron, or HubDoc, just to name a few, that can fully extract date ranges from the invoices to populate your description lines in Xero. So this is going to be really, really key for if we want to be able to fully automate this process, really take the brakes off and really save lots of time at month end. You're going to want to go look into implementing a tool like that. If you're already using a tool like this, you're already halfway there, and this next step is going to be really, really easy for you. Okay, so step one would have helped you get the date ranges into descriptions. Fantastic. Some nice data in Xero. However, all of that expense is still being hit in May in your P&L. So that's where Spread comes in. Now, Spread's a tool that sits alongside Xero as your adjustment layer that is going to detect all of those date ranges and fully populate the journal schedules for you. Okay, so here's my invoice inside of Spread. So what it's done is it's correctly applied the date range from the description across the journal schedule, and it's built that for me. So the first item is always a reversal of the original invoice expense in the month in which it occurred. And then we handle all the prepayments and accruals, whether we're going forwards or backwards. It's very, very easy to make a change if you need to for whatever reason. So I can just go and bring this forwards if necessary, change the date, see the impact update, see what happens to my P&L in real time, and then, of course, review the journals if needed below before posting. You'll see you have the full audit trail here as well about who posted what and when as well. So there's that full story there, and you can see exactly everything that's happened in the system. Okay, but what if there's tracking in Xero that you want to replicate in all of your journals? Don't worry, we detect all that as well. So we'll give you all the tracking detail within Xero for every single line, and all the journals that are posted back into Xero as well will contain all of the relevant tracking options to keep everything in the right place for you in your reporting. Most users of Spread will have the settings configured so that they are just monitoring accounts that they typically need to make these types of adjustments for. So, for example, you can auto sync direct costs if you're in an agency business with lots of prepayments, or you can auto sync all overheads if you want to just keep an eye on your overheads for prepayments and accruals. If there is something that you want to exclude because you know you never need to adjust for it, go ahead and just remove it from the list. And that way you've got a really, really slick process at month end that's going to save you a lot of time. Now, there's a really nice automation setting within Spread where if the date range comes through from the description, we have a really, really high degree of confidence that that is what you want to post. So therefore, you'll always see the status will be ready whenever we've read that date from the description in Xero. Now, in the dashboard, you can navigate to your settings and actually turn an automation on. That means whenever anything is marked as ready, just go ahead and post for you. Now, if you can get 80 to 90% of your prepayments posted automatically for you, that's going to drastically cut down this task every single month. And I can guarantee you'll capture a lot more as well. Things that are previously missed that aren't spotted until they're reviewed by a senior member of staff will be processed by a junior member of staff first time around. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we also look at those attachments. So if there is no indication in the description where this needs to be processed to, then what we'll do is we'll obviously look at the attachments to determine that for you. So in this case, you have a rental invoice for January through to December. So there is some technical stuff going on behind this, how it works. So, we basically look for all dates other than the first mention of the invoice and due date from Xero. So we scan all of those dates to build out those suggestions for you. Now, not quite as accurate as descriptions because descriptions are 100%, which is why we always recommend getting your bookkeeping process nailed using one of those extraction tools or just having that manual process built into whoever's processing things to basically just never have to worry about the prepayment schedules ever again. If, however, you can't do that for any of the reason, or you want to take a slower step towards automation, then you can Just immediately start using this out of the box as it is with your current process today. And the OCR will pick up around 70 to 80% of all those suggested adjustments. Or if we don't find a date range, it'll flag it as not identified so that you can go in and make those decisions for yourself. To help you keep moving fast and to speed things up, there's lots of different filters you can use. You can use activity date filter, which will show you everything that's occurred within Xero, for example, within the current month. Okay, and you can also filter to see why are these suggestions being made? Is it because of the attachment or is it because the line item description detail from Xero itself? Again, you can also filter by bank transactions versus accounts payable bills. And again, you can look by status and a bunch of other things as well. You can sort by nominal codes. You can sort by various things, amounts. So you can start with the most material things first or group things together by nominal code. So you can work through different types of transactions. You can bulk select as well, so you can actually select everything once you've done your review of everything that's a spread, for example. I'm just going to show you what that would look like. Review everything that's currently in the status of spread. Make sure you're happy with all the dates. Select everything. Go and click approval, and that will post all the journals in bulk for you. So there's lots and lots of tips and tricks how to use this system very, very fast to keep things really, really efficient for you at month end. I know what you're thinking. What does everything look like in Xero? So let's go and have a look. So as you can see here, we have got a prepayment. Now, Spread will post a monthly journal for every single month that we are spreading that cost to. Okay, all tracking replicated. You'll have the supplier name as well as the invoice period in the description there, so you have a good audit trail. Now, the full audit story is going to be in two places now. You're going to have the ability to drill down in Xero. You're also going to have a full audit log of who did what and when and what got posted in Spread. And we have a balance sheet reconciliation report as well to give you the overview you need at that senior level look to show you what's still outstanding on the balance sheet and how is that made up. The really nice thing about this is because all of the data is now in Xero rather than a spreadsheet, it means you can really easily drill down. So with Spread, we have 4 separate nominal codes that we post to, and here's my prepayments account. I can drill down into the account transactions report, see everything that's occurred within the time frame I'm looking at. So I might just be looking at the current month, for example, and I can just go and see all of the prepayment adjustments that have been posted through Spread. Again, if you really want to drill down, you can go and add a description contains spread filter here, just again see all the audit trail of what's being processed by spread. Of course, you can then go and apply as many filters as you might need. Description contains supplier name, invoice number, etc. You can get the full audit trail all from within Xero, which is really, really cool. Same can be done with the profit and loss as well, of course. If you want to investigate anything, you can drill down. You'll be able to see exactly what's happened through the account transactions report. All of those adjustments will be surfaced for you. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have 4 exports here that come out of Spread. This is going to give you the high-level overview you need just to see exactly what's happened. This would be really good if you want to build in a review process to allow the junior members of the team to do these sorts of adjustments using Spread. Let's take a look at one of these sheets for you. So here we have the spreadsheet here, all of my prepayments processed through as of the end of May. I have every single line item detail here, so I can read all the descriptions, the supplier names, the nominal codes, the tracking categories, the amounts, absolutely everything. Start and end dates that have been applied from Spread, the number of months that something has been spread across, and then you've got the opening balance and the closing balance, all of that detail. For the monthly summaries, you've got the monthly movement and the cumulative balance, which will reconcile back to that balance sheet. You can have a nice review process. So I can see British Gas, I can see the line item is January to March, and I can see it's only been spread across 1 month of April in my export. So someone's made a mistake there. And I can see that here we've got £900 being added to the balance sheet prepayment account in March, and it's being removed in April, which is taking that closing balance down to 0 for this particular transaction on my balance sheet as of the end of May. There we go. So it's a great review tool. Junior members of the team can be processing these kind of adjustments, and perhaps maybe a senior member of the team can just cast an eye over the final adjustments at month end to make sure that nothing's been missed. Accruals is one of the most time-consuming parts of month end. Most businesses are still rebuilding the entire schedule every single month from within inside of a spreadsheet. Okay, here we are in the recurring bills area of Spread. This is going to be your control dashboard. It's a great place to come and get overall visibility into everything you've been billed and what you haven't been billed from your key suppliers at month end. This whole area of the product works with multi-currency. Every single invoice that comes into Xero will take the XC.com exchange rate that Xero uses as of the invoice date, so that when you're looking at the interface in Spread, you can see what the billed amount is in your base currency, and all of your accrual journals as well that are posted will also be in your base currency. I'll quickly show you how you can add a supplier too. Just go to your supplier list, you can carry out a search, global search in Xero. You'll see any nominal codes that you typically bill for different suppliers. You can track down to different multiple nominal codes for different suppliers. You can also add tracking and you can accrue and manage your budgets for accruals as well down to the tracking level. So to set one up, you simply select the supplier, choose on which basis that they bill you, whether that's monthly, quarterly, annually, or every 2 months, for example. Enter the amount that you wish to accrue every single month for this supplier, or choose the variable average method. Select the nominal code that you wish to track. You can enter a start and end date, which is particularly handy if you want to manage contracts through this. This is a really good control check because you can have your end date set to be in line with a lease agreement, something like that, so that you know when the price is going to change, that accrual will then stop being calculated for you to kind of prompt you to go and go find out what the new agreement is and then enter the right accrual forecast in here. You'll also see, to make this really easy, the last 6 months billing history for each of your suppliers in the base currency to make it really, really easy to put the amounts in that you need to when setting up suppliers. Let's look at a few examples on the screen. So I've set up 3 suppliers here to be tracked through Spread. One for Anglian Water. This is a fixed monthly cost of £180 that we expect to be billed by this supplier. And Morgan Maxwell, advertising and marketing. This is a variable cost that fluctuates as we increase and decrease marketing spend month to month. So in this case, I've set it to be a variable average to look back at the cost of the last 3 months to calculate me the accrual. Lastly, we have a consulting bill set up again to be monthly at £243 a month. So as you can see with this top one, we've accrued £180 in the current month, and you'll always see what the current accrual balance is for each of the accounts over here on the right-hand side, and that indicates the amount that's to be released at some point. So I'm going to go and post the accrual for April as well, because that's been missed. We'll just treat 540 as a spike. Most finance teams will lock Xero every single month. So if you do have an end of year invoice or something like that, it's very unlikely you're going to open that reporting period up. Now, with Morgan Maxwell Advertising, what you can see here is we have actually already been building the current month. So I'm going to lock this supplier for this current month to shut down that suggestion. You can also lock it over here by choosing which month you want to lock it up until, and then you can apply that. I'm not going to do that because I need to post the accrual for the current month, which has been calculated for me based on a 3-month average of the last 3 months. So I'm going to go and post that one as well. Quick tip for you is if you do want to make a non-transactional accrual, you can post that from here too, just by setting up a dummy supplier within Xero, and you can actually create contacts from here too. So I can go and add a new supplier. For example, call it something like provision for corporation tax. And I can go and actually set that up in here as well. Now, and I can accrue this as well to make sure that sits in my P&L and balance sheet month to month. Let's do a provision for corporation tax. That might be a manual calculation you do looking at your P&L, but let me just go and put a number in here to just paint the picture of that example. So if it's £35,000 accrual in, and I'll show you what that would look like. So now I've got a expense for the corporation tax debited in the month at 35,000, and it's going to go into a missing bills account, which is an accrual account on the balance sheet, which can be cleared down at year end. Okay, lastly, we have a consulting, the consulting charge, 243 months. This one is a bit more of a real world story, perhaps, of what's happened here. So we've been billed consistently by the supplier. Then they didn't bill us for 2 months. They sent us a 3-month bill in April. So we've previously accrued the last 3 months, and then we've been billed at let's just say that bill came in last minute after we'd already sort of posted the accruals. And so I can see what the total balance is sitting on in this accrual. I am going to want to accrue 243 in the current month because that's missing, but I've also got an adjustment to do in April to release the previous accruals. Okay, so with this last one, what I need to do is release the entire accruals balance in the month in which we've been invoiced. So I'm going to go put a negative amount in here of £731.58 to release the accruals balance for that supplier. At the same time, I'm posting an accrual for the current month. Then we're going to lock the supplier up until the end of May. And there we go. In Xero, I'll be left with the balance, which is going to be £262.28, which is effectively the difference between the shortfall in what I have accrued previously and the actual invoice. So now that final adjustment will sit at £262 in the month of April, and I've also accrued £243.86 in May, which is why my closing accrual balance for this supplier at the end of May is £243.86. you've got an audit trail here of everything that's been posted. So in this example, I can see all the previous accruals that have been posted for this supplier. Okay, all that's left to do now is lock my financial period. So we've just done month end for May. So let's go and lock that in Xero. I'm sure you already do this in your finance team, but just so that you can see what's been done and what's not been done. And in terms of the balances that are still to release in future periods, we're going to go lock this as well. So we're going to lock all suppliers up until the end of May, which will shut down all the suggestions within here. And you'll just be able to see what the current accrual balance is so that when next month, when you're wrapping up month end, you can see if you need to make any adjustments. If you're still manually adjusting deferred revenue at month end, you're probably spending hours in a spreadsheet that nobody else understands. And one mistake means the profit and loss is incorrect. Okay, here we are in Xero where everything kicks off. It's all going to start with the bookkeeping. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks about what you can do whilst raising sales invoices to make sure you can fully automate the deferred revenue process. Okay, quick tip for you. It's really, really easy to prorate annual subscriptions from within Xero by using formulas. A lot of people don't know this. So if you know it's £2,400, for example, for an annual subscription, but you only want to charge the customer 7 months, here's how you can do that. 2,400 divided by 12 times 7. There we go, 1,400. Nice and quick. Okay, this part's really important. We want to get the subscription term into the description in Xero. This is going to enable us to automate all the adjustments later on. So we're going to go with 7 months here. So we're going to go through May through to November. Feel free to add the year if it's relevant. If you're going into the next year, etc., make sure you add the year in there. That will really help as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do is going to go create a couple of example subscriptions and membership invoices. So with this one, I'm actually just going to leave it blank. So I'm going to show you how to bulk process this on the other end. So if you know the subscription term, add the detail into the description into Xero. Spread's going to fully adjust that for you later on. But also I'm going to show you a method that you can do to handle this in bulk, where if you typically sell membership, say for example, an annual season ticket for a football club or a golf membership, which maybe runs to the end of the year. I'll show you a quick way to handle those sorts of adjustments as well. Here's the 5 invoices I've just processed through Xero. So if you remember the first one for Joe Blogs, it was an annual subscription that we prorated. Now, because the description is in Xero, Spread has detected those dates. It's got a really high degree of confidence because that date has come from your bookkeeping, and therefore it has the status of ready. Now, there's an automation in a setting within Spread that enables you to fully automate all of the deferred revenue adjustments for these types of transactions. If you click onto the invoice number here, you'll see exactly what's happening in the background. So Spread's going to figure out what the schedule should look like. It's going to post all of the journals for you for deferred revenue. You can see the summary of the P&L impact here if you do want to review this at any point. And further down, you can see all the journals that are being posted. So the first one is always going to reverse the original sale from the month in which it occurred and put that balance onto the balance sheet. And our subsequent monthly journals will release and recognize that revenue where it needs to be recognized. Really, really simple. Anybody can use this tool. You do not have to be a trained accountant. You just need to have a basic understanding of dates. And as long as those dates are in Xero in the first place, you can't go far wrong here at all. So as I mentioned, you can fully automate this. You can take the brakes off. It's a really, really simple workflow. I'm going to go ahead and post that one to Xero for now. Do this one manually this time around. Okay, and then we have our other invoices here as well. We've got a couple that we're going to defer for 12 months up front. Now, this is where you may introduce some extra nominal codes into your workflow to make it really, really easy to identify exactly what you need to spread across 12 months, what do you need to spread across 3 months, 6 months, etc. If you're offering quarterly packages, for example, you might wish to create a separate nominal code for that. And then it's very easy to group those together as you process these every single month. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the top 3 here, and I'm going to simply apply a 12-month subscription term to that. So all I'm going to do is from today's date, I'm going to go and drive that forwards to the 19th of May. Okay, so we have a 12-month subscription term. Apply to selected. Really, really simple, right? So you can go in and you can bulk select. There's lots of little filters and sorting you can do to make this really, really easy for you at month end, including nominal codes. Just go in and apply those date ranges and then simply click approve selected. And we've just posted all of those deferred revenue schedules for all the sales we processed this month. Really, really simple. Now, this last one, let's say we do want to prorate this one. Let's say that our membership. So in this example, we've got a football season ticket. Let's say this runs to the end of the season. Let's go with June. It's only May and June left, right? So we just go and enter May to June, save changes, can see the P&L impact here. Go ahead and press post to zero, and that's all done for you. So you can handle lots of different types of adjustments through Spread really easily. The best way to do it is to get the description correct in Xero, and then to fully automate everything, go to your dashboard settings, enable the automation settings so that when something is detected as ready, meaning it has a high degree of confidence, which is what happens when it gets those dates from your descriptions out of Xero, we can fully post the deferred revenue for you. Let me go to Xero quickly and show you what it looks like in Xero, and then I'll show you a month-end reconciliation report to give you that overview of everything that's happened, what's still to be deferred later, what's sitting on your balance sheet. All of that will be answered through the reports that I'm about to run you through just now. Okay, we're back in Xero, but what does everything look like in Xero? Now, this is where it's really, really good because you've now got the detail in Xero. So as you can see, a separate journal which references all of the invoice numbers as well as the suppliers or the customer name. It all gets posted into Spread, which means you can drill down now into your profit and loss and your balance sheet to see exactly what's happening. It's a quick example of this. I'm running a P&L for the financial year in Xero. Got my season ticket sales right here. I can drill into that and I can see all the detail there, right? Of course, there's extra things you can do in here. You can filter, you can sort, you can actually go and filter specifically by subscription contains Spread in order to see anything that's been run as a deferred revenue adjustment, etc., all from within Xero. So the full audit trail is now in here, which is really, really powerful whenever you're looking into discrepancies into Xero at year end or month end. Okay, exactly the same story within the balance sheet. So we create separate nominal codes in Spread to enable you to keep everything really, really clean and enable you to really easily reconcile what's happened. So if I just dig into this balance sheet code for all my deferred revenue that's currently sitting there, again, I've got the full transaction history. I can see the monthly movement across the month, the running balance. I can see everything that's happening in here with my customers. It tells the full story, and you'll never need to go into a spreadsheet again to answer these kinds of questions. So again, another little quick tip for you, if you didn't already know, it's really, really easy to summarize your reports in Xero as well. You can combine multiple nominal codes together just to give you exactly what you need to see all together. To do that, all you need to do is click Edit Layout in the bottom left-hand corner, select the two nominal codes that you want to combine, and click Group Selection. That's all there is to it. You can give it a title. You can change that to be however you need that to read in your reports. Click Update, and you've now summarized multiple nominal codes together so that it just reads as accruals. So Spread is going to give you a zip file which contains a unique CSV spreadsheet for each of the balance sheet codes that we've posted to throughout the month. In this case, we're just talking about deferred income. So I'll show you what that one looks like, and hopefully you'll get a good, clear picture for how this can help you at month end. Cool. So navigate to your spreadsheet tool of choice. Now we're running this as of an as at date, because obviously this is a balance sheet report. So what you're going to see is all of the invoice detail, all of the transaction detail. So you've got invoice number, supplier name, etc., which means it's really, really easy to summarize this however you need to answer any questions. The report always runs on a 24-month rolling basis. So I'm going to go get rid of everything prior to the last to April because there was nothing before that that's been deferred. So what I can now see is along the top here is I've got my months. So I'm running this as of the end of May. So I can see 24-month look back from May. I've got all of the transactional detail, and I can see exactly what's happened, basically the movement in every single month broken down by all of that detail. In May, you can start to see where we started to recognize some revenue, and then we have some closed balance. So that's the closed balance as in the deferred revenue account as at the end of May. And as I mentioned before, you can see it summarized however you need. You've got the cumulative balance there along the top, as well as the monthly movement for any of the months you're looking at. Then you have all the detail. So if you do need to put together a quick pivot table so you can summarize by supplier or by invoice number, it's really, really easy to do that. You have all that data. And that's it from me. Hopefully you've learned something in this video today. If this has resonated with you and you'd like to talk further about automating your processes with Xero, please do go check out our website at spread.finance, and we look forward to talking to you soon.